Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to H&D Abroad. I'm Herman.
I'm Dee, and we are abroad again, finally. Whoop,
For
whoop,
real. We
whoop,
actually
whoop,
are
whoop,
out
whoop.
here.
So, we are a couple that we are currently taking a break together. We have not traveled internationally together since early last year.
Hmm.
Um, we'll talk a little bit about why for that, but this channel really is sharing our process of moving abroad, the research that we're doing, the scouting trips that we do, and introducing people that we are meeting virtually and in person along the way. Many of you all are a part of our community, our friend group, people that I call and laugh with, cry with. Servant Teacher Nikki, thank you. And that have really been champions for us. So I want to say thank you to Tanya Brooks and Pamela Jones and my sister Beijing Alpha 4, and for everybody that is coming in as you have set notifications because you have become a subscriber to our channel. Y'all, we are one subscriber away. We are one subscriber away from 2,000 subscribers.
Come on now.
Like somebody's got to come help us during this process today.
We already believe that it just happened. So if you are new to our page and you just subscribed, you've been watching, you've been trying to decide, listen.
Today is your day.
This is the day we welcome you. And if you haven't decided.
Wait, Pamela Jones says it now says 2,000 subscribers on her screen. So, well, I guess maybe that's what we should start with today. But first, we want to say, yes, please subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. Please like this video because that tells the algorithm it's worth watching so that more people can find us. And then, just the comments are really where we see what is important, what vibes with y'all so that we can bring more of that content to you. But we are so happy. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it to 2,000 subscribers before January.
Our sons tease us, oh, look at your 80 million subscribers. But hey, you know what? We did this process. We joined this process because we wanted to be able to be a part of a community.
Yes.
We knew that there was no way to find all these people to talk to. Mm-hmm. And so this is a show of the people who we believe are part of a community we've joined more than you've subscribed to us. And so we appreciate the fact that you have acknowledged us publicly and become a part of the D&H family. And we are thankful.
Absolutely. I mean, last November, we hit 1,000 subscribers. And that was really momentous. And people were like, it's going to be so much faster this year. And there were some fast points. And then there were some slower points because we needed to slow down. So I know we're going to do a video. We said we were going to do another video once we hit 2,000 subscribers to kind of share what we've learned along the way, because it's a push-pull. So yes, we are doing a lot of research about what people are interested in when they're looking for travel content, move abroad content. Who are the folks that you all are watching? That is important to us because we want you to be able to do something that does not normally happen on a channel. Most people are uploading their videos. Here we go live so that you can ask questions of our guests. Mm-hmm. We had Barbara Sutton on a couple of weeks ago from Ghana. Folks were able to ask their questions about her experience in her move, especially when she talked about she lost $6,000 on some land. And people had questions. They were like, why? What happened? What did you do? Not just during the live, but after that, she came back and answered. So we hope that this is going live is a valuable experience for you. Come with your questions. I think it's very rare. Even the questions like, where are you going? We have given you some kind of answer that we felt that we could give at the time.
We're going to go to Kentucky with Delta Lucy. That's what
yes,
we're
girl.
going to fool everybody.
We loved Kentucky.
And the truth of it, that's absolutely true. When our first business venture, our very first business venture, we went to a training in Kentucky, in Louisville. And we really thought about not driving back home after that, because we really enjoyed it. But
absolutely. So thank you all so much for helping us to achieve this goal. We've got some beautiful things to share about this series of trips that we're taking together. We took a significant amount of time off work, which kind of shows I didn't take a lot of time off from work this year, because that's how I stacked this amount of time. So we are gone for several weeks into the new year. We started this journey saying we wanted to, I guess we have to kind of go back to January. So because we center on the channel, because we center travel, and it was with a very sad heart that I wasn't saying, woohoo, we're moving. We had to make some decisions. And one of those decisions was to put more funds toward the bills that we didn't want to have going out the door.
Correct.
I've talked a lot about the creep. We've got our last young person in college, and he's needed a little bit more help so he could speed up his process and graduate within the time frame he wanted, which meant mom and dad covered the edges. Life lifed, including some health things that I had been maintaining, but I needed to find out more information about without having the ability to go where I know healthcare is more affordable out of pocket. Y'all know on this channel, I've already talked about going to Mexico for healthcare, going and getting my labs done, and being able to see specialists without having to go through a doctor, that they were English speaking. I spoke about that at Exodus Summit. And Exodus Summit had a whole series. I think there were 4 of us that talked about healthcare over that course. The replays are available if you are interested specifically in examples of healthcare in different places in the world. So yeah, I didn't have time to take advantage of that because once we decided we weren't leaving, we were like, we're doubling down on paying these debts off, finding out what I can do to keep my costs low, because you know how to lower cost? Stay healthy. Maintain your health. And so I was like, let me find out what's going on. Let's see what we can do to maintain things until we're out the door. So we listed our bills top to bottom like we always have. We've also talked about how we paid off a 6-figure debt in 13 months. And we just applied that again. So we had 7 things. We have paid off 6. It is because of determination that those things happen. It was not easy. And we set some criteria. Before we got a bunch of jobs, I was like, not getting a bunch of jobs. So, I mean, we literally really streamlined our budget to be able to do that, including the reason why this scouting trip was affordable is because we prepaid it. If you guys are interested in hearing us talk about prepaying your scouting trips and how to make it work in your budget so that you really have joy in that experience, we would love to have a discussion about that. But
we also did quite a bit of house sitting this year. And what house sitting has done for us a number of things it's done for us is one, it made us pay attention to what our regular habits were.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a habit because I'm at home, or is this a habit because this is something that we're doing? Do we need to change this process? Do we need to rethink how we look at this? Do we need to rethink what we buy and why we buy it? So we spent nearly 4 months at the top of the year outside of our city. We were in the country, we were outside of our city.
Mm-hmm.
Dee spent 2 months, 2.5 months this summer outside of our city in the country. We're currently at a house sitting. We'll talk a little bit about that as we are in the broadcast today. And so there are pieces of house sitting that we have that are the normal living, because a part of what we have shared our desire to do has been in the using house sitting as a method of living for potential as we move around, decide where to go, but also when we're scouting places, to look at them as I live here and what would I do? And so some of the things we'll talk about today in finances and housing and all of those things, and transportation will be with that. And house sitting has provided for that, because I'm not just at an Airbnb in the middle of the big whatever. I'm somewhere where I have to make some decisions about what's next. And it's really highlighted, okay, we buy like this. Why are we eating? Why are we not just why are we eating that much, but why are we eating that? Why are we purchasing that?
And if that wasn't available,
what would it do? Yeah. So all of that is kind of a tie-in to what we'll do today, because we wanted to be able to say when we got where we were going that we had a better plan and idea and focus on how we were moving forward.
Tanya Brooks. Another episode that's coming up is perfecting the pivot. You got to know how to perfect the pivot, and it isn't always that I know exactly what I'm going to do, a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Yes, it's that. Those of us who are planners, we need that. The other piece that I've recognized, because we're doing these trial experiences, is I need to be more flexible. I need to take a woosah breath. You hear me? I need to breathe deep, because it doesn't flow. We were talking to Cedric and Bobby,
Aging Grateful,
this week, and I was just like, man, you don't know what you don't know, and you can do a lot of planning, but the flexibility of your mind is important. And recognizing, I don't even recognize how convenient the conveniences are in the States. That things can be timely, that there's a level of automation that is supposed to give us more free time, but then there's so many other things that can be crammed into your life because of the convenience. This is making me say that there's just people are out here breathing.
Listen.
Okay, people are out here breathing. I'm not taking a breath because of how we push. Look, just one example. I wanted to find an umbrella. And I was like, so in the chat right now, if you needed to find an umbrella in the US, where would you go? And I went through those things in my head. I was like,
and none of those places.
I was like, okay, so where is the, where's the, what do you call that? The super centers. I won't use the names. Where are the super centers? Where are the convenience stores? Where is the, the shops that cover your bric-a-bracs or whatever? That's how old I am. I said bric-a-brac. Okay. Yes, he's laughing at me. But I mean, I was just like, okay, so it's not a store. I'm going to have to go to several stores. Like, we don't even do that anymore. I can go to one store and find most of what I need. But that does exist, but there is a discovery process. I had to be patient with myself or anticipate my needs, and just be flexible. I was like, I use a special kind of soap. I need to find out if that soap is here or if I'm going to have to make a pivot. Y'all, people are pivoting out here.
Listen, pivoting has become our new motto.
There's
a show that I won't name so that Living Loving Abroad won't make fun of D, where one of the main characters is moving into an apartment. He's carrying the couch up the stairs, and as they're trying to move this couch up the stairs, he keeps yelling, "Pivot!" We have, in this 2 years, I mean, we could go on Dancing with the Stars, because we are shaking our groove thing, moving the way we are moving, making these things work. And these trips have really highlighted how we need to change our mindset before we go. You know, we've been in preparation with that, talking to Living Loving Abroad, talking to Servant Teacher Nikki and David, talking to Agent Grateful, talking to the various people we're talking to in Africa and Asia, and the people we've talked to all around the world have really highlighted, okay, you need to get your mind different. But until you put your feet on the ground and you are spending cash and sleeping or trying to sleep or trying to get from one place to another, you really don't think about how that is. So we're going to jump into that today. Part of the reason that we're pushing these two,
we're doing a comparison, I think, of our experience so far in these two countries.
I'm not even bothered.
Hey,
we're looking at these two countries together because, first of all, for those of you who get to see us last week, Costa Rica was our
rest.
There's content, and we will post the Costa Rica content. We'll post some of that, but we'll be posting Panama content while we're still here. But
we actually did a video on Instagram from our balcony in Costa Rica. And first thing we want to say is I will not classify the entire country. I can only speak to the city I visited. Okay. All right. So we visited San Jose.
Correct.
Okay. And then we are outside, kind of it is an expat kind of hub, where we are in Coronado, Panama. And so those are the two places. Give you a little bit of overview feedback. I probably could take this content and make an entire video about just about our prep. So there are a couple of things that resources that we're going to put links to in the description that there just wasn't enough time to get it all in there, but I'm coming back to give. So one, this trip, and I can't believe we've traveled without a VPN. That's a no-no, y'all. You're going to be using your phone, your laptop in public places. And so you want to protect your data. Identity theft is a thing, international identity theft. H had his Facebook page not just hacked, he was completely shut out of it before we left the States, but those kinds of things makes you vulnerable. And so get VPN access, but VPN access also next levels, things like we paid for Paramount Plus before we left. It says you're in a different country. We can't give you access to that. I tried to go and authorize for my medicines at home to be mailed back to my house. It was like, you're not in the United States. Citizens and patients cannot have access to this pharmacy platform outside the US. So a VPN is a requirement. We use NordVPN. I'll put the link in the description because you need access. And we're now doing, it makes sense now because we know we're going to be traveling more going forward. And so go ahead and get the year-over-year package, 2-year, 3-year package, because the price is lower and we know that we're going to use it. But also, like, that Netflix game was
hey, and that seems like a big deal. So Netflix takes a lot of things off, and their reasons for it are sometimes they'll say you'll hear that the other streaming platforms have reclaimed all of it. Just give you an example, just broad example. So Paramount has a lot of things like the Star Trek series, and at home, all of that's been pulled back to Paramount. Here is all still on Netflix. There are a lot of things that they've taken off that's no longer available in the States. It's available.
And there are things that are only available outside of the US that I am now binge watching because I have more time. So yes, get that VPN. You can select the country that you want to appear in. Okay. Do not use a VPN for your job. Okay. A reasonable IT professional that is managing the security for your employer is not tricked by even if they list themselves as the strongest VPN. So I do not advocate trying to mask your location for your employer. Okay. Be in agreement. Y'all don't get out here and risk it all. That is not the message that I want to share. But it is a way to protect your identity and for some basic services to do that. So
I want to shout out Greta's here. It's always good to see Greta. It's always good to see Danielle Brooks.
Yes.
A few other people dropped in. Luxury Bucket List. Yeah. Lynn Will, welcome. What? Who did I miss? Kimmy Apple. Good to see you, Kimmy. So I just wanted to make sure I shout out.
And Dr. T.
Dr. T, good to see you. So I just wanted to make sure I let you all know we weren't ignoring you. We see you.
And to say thank you for being a part of our 2,000 subscriber
day.
Crew. Yes, and 2,000 subscriber day.
So we'll start off with
the second thing that we did that we had not done before. We're going to be transitioning because we're going to be doing more travel. We actually did get travel insurance. So it's a travel medical plus. We went with Alliance that gave us some benefits for if you have travel changes, lost baggage, but also if we needed to get access to healthcare. So we did Alliance. This is the first time we've done that. What I've done with my employer, because we are a global company, is I've just gotten a letter, told them where the health care provider, my employer don't know where I'm going. They may now, but but I do go to the healthcare provider, find out where they will provide coverage if I need to be hospitalized and things like that. But it doesn't repatriate me. It doesn't repatriate my remains. It doesn't do, medical transport. That's what this policy is for. So if you are preparing to travel, I would definitely get coverage because flight delays and other things are a thing. And I've read too many stories in these travel groups, expat groups, that things take a turn that it's unexpected, and I haven't budgeted for a $10,000 or $20,000 procedure. So I want to have some kind of coverage that even if I need to pay out of pocket, a deposit, or pay the full out of pocket, I've got a way to do that. And then I got a policy that's going to really cover me. So look, I'm telling you, those are some things that we added.
So a question there from Greta about it.
Yes. So, okay. So what I did was we compared the 4 countries that we're going to. I put in, the dates and all of that. Or get a 1-year policy for 2 people, Greta, 2 people.
Right.
So it was virtually the same price for getting it for the year. It's a different, what do you call that? The limits are different. What was covered was different, but the core things that I wanted covered were covered in the 1-year plan. And we were able to cover both of us. So when I say affordable, it was less than $250 for the plan that covers us for a year.
Correct.
So it's not, this is travel.
Right.
Emergency healthcare, things that happen with your baggage and things like that. If you have to change your trip because of some issue on the ground, that is a reimbursement through Alliance. So I felt really confident. If you all want, I will link Adelia's video that I used, Adelia Aborshade, Picky Girl Travels the World. She has an excellent video that goes over the difference between regular travel insurance, travel medical insurance, and then how it's different from the healthcare. If you're going to be in a place, that is a different kind of healthcare coverage, but you need something.
$250 a year.
Yes.
$250 for the year for the travel insurance.
Yeah.
So not a month.
Yeah.
For the total year for the two of us.
Right. We're probably going to be paying that, or probably a little bit more, as I started looking at the healthcare policies. Yeah. So it's gonna be a bit pricey, but I'd rather pay that because those anyway. I won't go into
the
that.
things that it covered, right? And we'll do one just on that.
Just on that.
But the things that it covered, the range of coverage that came from that, we was like, okay, it's worth that. I mean, that was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So something that one of the things that I paid attention to in planning this trip was, y'all know it, it's the B word, it's a budget. I was like, the math has to math. And so with the mathing, okay, go answer that call. That's my baby. It's not a baby, but mamas, we say baby. The math has to math. So budget. So we knew how much we wanted to spend. We then took some time to look at airline prices, because that's usually what I start with, is how much is it going to cost for us to get there? And that's actually how we added Costa Rica. I didn't know that Southwest flew to Costa Rica. Y'all, I feel like a newbie in these international streets. But so we were able to take a trip, the first part of our trip to Costa Rica, and not have to worry about baggage fees. And if you all will help me to remember to talk about baggage fees, especially when we get to Copa. But yeah, so we were able to prepay that back in August. So those fees, and then as we got a little bit closer, then we bought the tickets for the rest of the trip. But it was nice to be able to not have the baggage fees, and that's why we went with Southwest. Southwest is always fun. Like, they are just a fun crew. The seats were comfortable. It was a pretty short trip. We flew out of Nashville. And so they were running one of those deals, and we paid maybe about $400 for 2 tickets, maybe $450, but it wasn't $500. But it was a really good price, and we decided to come to Costa Rica first after we had actually gotten the house sit in Panama. So I was just like, I need rest. So took a week in Costa Rica to rest, and then moved on. So I don't want to get too far without H about Costa Rica, but flying in, it is beautiful. The amount of greenery. If you don't understand the science behind green, and what it does to your brain, it does something. And as we were descending and flying in, that greenery, and I could just feel my body taking a rest. Not only was it taking a rest, but it was because I hadn't gone to bed the night before, because this mama baked all of the Christmas stuff for my kids and our son's fiance at home. And so I wanted to leave the house clean. We left our son with lots of pre-cooked food.
That he was what he was calling about here.
Oh Lord.
But no,
we had left all the prepared food.
No, he had an opportunity to get something extra, and he wasn't sure he had what he was about to get extra of.
Okay.
He
So
forgot we were here.
So yeah, we just, flying in, we knew we needed rest. Just just landing and seeing just how beautiful it was and how warm it was. Oh, we were in the 30s at home. We got off the plane, it was 70 plus.
Man, okay.
I need sunshine. I am no lie about Team Boycott Winter. And I found out that melanin skin needs more sunshine, more vitamin D.
So what she's saying undercover is we've been addressing sun issues as if we were paler. So
landing.
So the weather.
Yes.
The weather was amazing.
Okay, so
it was averaging
this time of year, San Jose is in the low 70s,
low to mid 70s,
yeah.
and not cold, cool kind of 70s. And at night we put on a sweater sometimes, but I mean a light sweater. I mean, because it was still the air was beautiful.
Yeah.
The days were bright, and we weren't near the water, were we?
No, we weren't anywhere near the water.
Anywhere near the water.
Decided to stay in the city. I scoped out. There's some. Let's see. Escazú is where a lot of the expats are. When I looked at the Airbnbs, you could tell the prices were higher. It was closer to the airport than we were. So we went to where we could make our budget work. So we spent a week in Costa Rica for $250 for the week.
For the Airbnb.
In a beautiful condo.
A beautiful condo. On
the 15th floor. Beautiful views. Y'all, if you get to go back to Instagram and look, we showed y'all the views. We did, I guess, several. And
we have several videos that we're going to
upload, because it's daytime and nighttime, and it had a beautiful rooftop pool, and we got a chance to sit out there and look at the city. Costa Rica is a beautiful place. It is a slower lifestyle pace.
Right.
And so if you're looking for somewhere that gives you that feeling, the mountains, y'all know I love mountains.
As busy an area as we were in.
Typically busy.
Well, yeah, I know what I'm saying, but even people wise, it was plenty of people. I mean, it wasn't crowded. I said busy, not busy like
not New York.
Not New York, not even Mexico City. When I say busy, there was a constant movement of people.
Okay.
But in that, it wasn't bustling. It wasn't overwhelming with motion and movement. And we were in still what I would consider to be somewhat of
a suburban area.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was moving. Now we'll come back to transportation because that's a big thing. But the energy, and you'll hear me talk about that constantly because you've heard me say before, it's a big deal for me. The energy was amazing. The vibe of the people. So Costa Ricans are light-skinned Black folk. They just are. Their energy, their vibe, their groove, they were, if we did not have to worry about the things we worry about in the States, I think we would be these relaxed people. They got it going on. They're doing their thing. You can feel the jazz, the soul in these people. But they were chill. I mean, you know, if we knew the language, okay. If we didn't, they talked to us in Spanish like we did know it. And I mean, but it wasn't it wasn't in a, well, you'll have to figure it out because I'm speaking Spanish kind of thing. It was just, you know, how do we engage you in a way that feels natural? When we got to the customs, we got to customs. Our customs agent was checking out things. She spoke no English. She didn't try.
Wait, no, that was Costa Rica. We had a guy in. I mean, that was in Panama. We had a guy in Costa Rica.
Really? Okay, I got it backwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, but just the vibe, the Latin vibe. I still think that, you know, we're over. And Panamanians are Central Americans with black blood and black skin. So we'll come back to that too. But yeah, just the energy and the vibe of the people was really.
I felt the culture.
I felt welcome.
And felt very welcome.
Oh yeah.
We made a lot of good local connections there. And like, it's nice. Okay, so Cheers isn't just a place, a television show. We came back the second time to the place in the mall that we ate the vegan meal, and she was like, "You came back," and we were like, "Yeah, okay." I mean, I didn't think there was anything about.
And having said that, there were a lot of African Americans in the area.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking specifically African Americans. There were a lot of African Americans in the area. There were a lot of people of color outside of the natives, the locals there, and the people we engaged at the various places we were engaged us that they were really interested in us. And it wasn't like, you know, okay, where you from, what you do. They were talking to us about normal stuff. We were having good conversations about regular things. And I really enjoyed that part about the energy of the place.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to forget to say this. So Copa. Okay. We have a couple of bags. Mm-hmm. I paid for one bag that I know is check level. We pull up to the airport and they're just like, courtesy checking bags. And I was like, you mean I could have kept my fee? But it's better to do it before you get to the airport. That is not a joke. Because we learned that also in Morocco. Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, they trying to take this money. You better do it ahead of time, because it's going to cost so much more when you get to the airport. But it's always a nice thing when you get that courtesy and don't have to travel with your luggage. But yeah, that is a great tip. Thank you. And I figure that's always Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. Let's see. Costa Rica money. So it is colones. Mm-hmm. Yes. So normally I try to get cash in the local currency. We were only going to be there a week. I didn't want to have that currency with us. We tried to spend all of the dura when we were in Morocco, and I still came home with dura.
We still have pesos in Mexico.
We have euros. I'm just like, I hate coming back with that, especially if we're not going to go back to that place. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so we did use our card to pay for things. On the advice of a couple of people, it's from a safety standpoint, I never use my debit cards outside the US. Mm-hmm. We took some cash because we knew we were going to places like Costa Rica that actually use US dollars. So it was nice to have a little bit of that. And then going forward, there are other places that use the US dollar. So, but definitely, if you don't have a Charles Schwab account or a Fidelity account where you can pre-fund that and then use that and have your ATM fees reimbursed, I'm hoping that it is very well worth it, because your bank charges a fee and then the ATM where you are charges a fee for getting that money. So just definitely. Okay. So yeah, the airport in Costa Rica is nice. It is probably the same size as our airport at home. It's not huge. It's not super small.
It was no problem moving through it.
No, none at all. And this is what I wanted to say, and I keep going back to these little details. I watched some videos, those of us who are new to international travel. I printed off a packet for Herman and a packet for me. What we have in our packet is a copy of our health insurance. I had the receipts for wherever we were staying for our lodging. Because we're doing one-way tickets, they're going to ask you how long are you staying in the country and where are you going next? You have to show evidence of that. I didn't want to have to fumble with my phone to pull it up. I printed everything out. I clipped it together and put it in date order. Y'all know I don't play about that. If you've seen our Mexico residency videos, y'all know I'm organized. I'm going to have it down. And what happened? Oh, and they want to know if you can afford to be in the country. I was not going to show them some cash.
Right.
That makes me vulnerable.
Right.
But I was able to bring a bank statement.
Right.
So you can either show, this is a credit card that has a balance of, and that, a limit of and no balance. You can show them, a bank statement. But those are things that in my research that I gathered and I had printed copies of, so that if we were asked, and he asked, where you going next? And we were able to pull right, because everything's in order. I was just like, flip to the next page. This is where we're staying. Did he ask for that or the late? Y'all, it's been 2 weeks and 2 different trips, but yeah, we had that because and then we also had to show where we were, when we were leaving, and to show that flight information.
And for those of us who are less structured, let me tell you why this is important. For one, the information, as Dee said, was at a fingertips grasp. It was just right there. It was just a matter of pulling it and showing it. And even when they asked some complicated questions, we had to kind of look for it. It's right there. So you're not trying to use several resources. Also, I believe I've learned from the Mexico trip, when doing our visas in Mexico, is more information is better, because each agent, customs, airport, everybody has a different idea about what it is they want to ask you. And it's better to have more information than you think you need and simply have that tucked away than to be called and who can send you a thing.
Have it all. The way that, not only did we have printouts, but your girl upgraded to an app. Look, 50 plus. We use TripIt. So if you don't use TripIt, that's how wives, this is how you can empower your husband to stop asking you, when are we leaving? What time do we need to be at the airport? I'm just saying, TripIt solves problems.
She's about to get her hands smacked. but she's not wrong. But she's about to get her hands smacked. What Oh, what was the thought I was going to say? Give me a second. Oh, I forgot. I'll come back to it. But you want to really, that information just gave us a push forward. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And if you don't know how to do that and you have trouble making that work, we do consultations.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
And we will sit down with you and help you walk through how to prep for some of these trips.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the beauty of having learned some of these things. There are things I share, there are things she shares, and we're doing that together, and we're sharing some of that with you. But if there are people who say, okay, there are things that Dee looks for that if I was traveling alone, it would never even occur to me to look at it like that, to look for that.
But I love watching other channels.
Right.
Like I just found another Exodus Summit sister. It is Dr. Maya. Her channel is Fly Like Me. She has traveled to over 43 countries. I need to learn from somebody like that. So I watch her channel. So yes, get with Dr. Maya. She is sharing some valuable content. She just uploaded a video, maybe scouting Curacao. I was watching that and shared it with some sisters. So if you want to hear from someone who has traveled even more than we have, she has some great videos. I wanted to make sure that I posted Greta. I did not realize. So what we're describing are the cash management cards with Fidelity. So yes, if you don't have it, there's some additional benefits. But these are cards, the whole reimbursing the ATM fees is a game changer. Keep your receipt. Mm-hmm. That has, there's the Queen of DC shared on, I think it was Instagram, that yes, they do reimburse it, but sometimes you have to prove that you had those fees. And she said, 99% of the time she has no problems. This was the one time where she was in a different country than she had been in Vietnam, but she had gone on a travel, but didn't get the receipt, and then noticed that they didn't take it off because you get an automatic update she was getting to her phone, and then they asked her to confirm whatever, and she didn't have it. So get a receipt when you're getting cash back, just in case there's a question about that. And then living. That's right, Mocha Mama. Welcome, darling. Yes, USAA. So check with your bank. We found out our credit card does not provide that benefit, but for reimbursing fees. But I have heard USAA does as well.
And a side advice notice: if you're using cards out of the country that are typically your in-the-country cards,
yes,
contact your service provider for those credit cards and let them know that you're going to be out of the country.
Because they ask the location and your dates.
So even though we don't use our debit cards out of the country, if there were emergency, we let the bank know that we were going to be using both our debit and our credit cards outside the country. You called about our Fidelity. So these things, they say as well as with your phone coverage, which leads us to.
So normally, okay, so a lot of people talk about getting the eSIM cards, get it while you're in the airport. Costa Rica, I don't want to talk to nobody. So we just kept WhatsApp. We have our family and friends, but what we did do was use Google Phone on our laptop. I was so nervous, even though the phone company that we use said that we're covering, we had data coverage, but it was going to be 25 cents a minute if we used, took a phone call. So yeah, we used WhatsApp for family members, but and then when we were in the airport in Panama, the eSIM kiosks are everywhere. I didn't see it in Costa Rica in the airport there. Like I was looking for it in baggage claim.
No.
And I didn't see it. So I'm glad I didn't, because we realized we really aren't calling out, and the calls that we were doing,
Correct.
that we could, what do you call that? That we could just use Google Phone for.
And we're using WhatsApp mostly.
But the data usage, we may do something a little different once we get to the next country.
Okay.
I would like to have an eSIM, or purchase a SIM card, just to kind of see what that's like, even though this would have been better because we're here for a longer period of time than we are for most places. But yeah, that served us. Google, we have a Google phone number, and we have WhatsApp, and checked with our data plan. We have T-Mobile. Yeah, I know it's not Verizon. Don't come for us.
But it gave us enough data coverage that when we're out of the building, it was not roaming. It just told us if it goes faster, whatever.
We don't have Amex, and that's because most people are saying Amex is not accepted many places, and so it didn't even make. It's just not. And so I was just like, we don't have a branded card like that, but yeah, it isn't widely accepted. And Discover cards also, I've heard the same thing.
Correct.
Are not widely accepted. So yeah, I just we had to let T-Mobile know that we were out of the country, but I was also trying to find out if what was covered, knowing that our data was covered, was good.
Both Steve and Pamela are saying that a lot of banks are saying now you don't have to let them know you were outside the country.
Look, but I was in the country.
Yeah.
We had let our Sam's membership lapse because the plan was to be out of the country. I go back to Sam's, renew my membership, and try to buy my food, and they block my purchase. I was like, I'm in the country, and they're like, well, you haven't been to this store in a while. I was like, I'm not taking a chance that it's late at night. I need cash. I go to the machine.
I'm trying to get a ride somewhere.
Yeah, and then you're blocking my financial access. But a lot of it, I think all but one of our cards, it's in the banking app where you can go and make those declarations and keep it moving.
Aileen Brown said she paid $50, and they tried to charge us. What was it? That accident? It was $100 for the international plan. So you only charge you $50. That's interesting to me because they charged us, and we weren't even out of the country. And I get this bill. And I was like, what is this extra $100 on our bill?
I called my friend in Guam, and I thought her number was low. Y'all, like I said, newbie mistakes, but yeah, getting those eSIMs, I think is a huge game changer for communicating back home. But a lot of plans, I'm hearing the data. Probably the thing that, living like a local, so we were able in Costa Rica to get an apartment. I got an apartment because I wanted to be able to cook. Not necessarily because cooking is always in budget, but I'm plant-based. Like it'd be scary out here in these streets not knowing what you were going to be able to eat from these restaurants. Marrakesh scarred me. Marrakesh, because I was out there in the world with like hunger pains and no real options.
The assumption when we were in Marrakesh was that there would be more vegetarian options because
they're Muslim
religious beliefs
countries,
and what happens is she ended up with a lot of
vegetable tagine.
So she was getting the same carrots, broccoli.
Look, Dr. T knows how hungry I was and how happy that first meal we had together. Dr. T Water,
Asian place.
Yes, I was so like tears coming down my face. I was so happy.
Yeah. But so when we got what we've decided to do, because when we were in Mexico, the natural reaction is to say, "Ooh, I want to, where I can feel safe. I want to try, local vendors and this and that." So like, I don't eat pork, and a lot of the things that were street side weren't vegetarian friendly, or they were pork. So we ended up really kind of dancing in Mexico with finding something that was local and appropriate for the both of us.
The best vegan food I have ever had.
But that's true.
The best vegan food in the world,
right?
Is in Mexico City and in Puerto Vallarta. That I was like, my son wants to fly back to Puerto Vallarta to eat at the vegan restaurants. I'm telling you, it's so the food in Costa Rica.
So when we got to Costa Rica, we had looked up vegan friendly places. And what we've decided to do in areas is, if there's an opportunity to try some things that are local cuisine. And what I'm finding both in Costa Rica and here in Panama is, if you technically are not like near somebody's house, if you're not deeper into the local areas, finding some, there's bits and pieces, like there's empanadas at all the little shops,
grocery stores,
and I probably will grab one or two because I really want to just try it. But like, I went to a Panamanian restaurant, it's not as obvious. So then we did have food.
But y'all, the biggest indicator that we were not going to get local food is that we were a half a block from a Starbucks.
And another one was a mile away from that. And
McDonald's and Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kreme.
Now, what I've learned to pay attention to as a culinarian, is, in some of those places that are recognizable, what happens is local ingredients, local things are available, as well as some of the other area culture places that are in there are more authentic. So if there's an Indian place there, they're doing Indian.
Yeah.
They're not Americanizing the Indian food. Or if there's Asian food, or so we went to a little pizza place that was an Italian pizza place, and that pizza.
Oh, okay, it's locals making it, but we went twice. When I go somewhere two times, there were a couple places we went to twice that were in our price range.
Right.
We would have gone back to the Mediterranean restaurant
where I got some shawarma. They put the shawarma, fresh made shawarma with roasted like pickles and vegetables on top of fresh made hummus. And they brought out
the pitas. They brought out were fresh, just made.
You could tell they rolled this out and made it in the back.
I'm just saying, I ate very well.
In there looking
calories, be damned.
In there looking like fat kid with cake. I mean, we just flew in, and those opportunities, and then evaluate the service with that. And this wasn't we're used to expats kind of engagement. This was, hey, who are you? What's your interest? Where you going? And just the little place, the best experience, right next door to our building.
Yeah,
there's a little cafe we kept passing by, and it always smelled like chocolate cake was coming out of it, and it looked like it was about the size of this room from the front door. We get in there, and I did video on it. It's a beautiful place on the inside, and everybody inside except for us and maybe one other couple were locals. And
so that's when you're gonna get the hook.
And it was a bakery, and it was like what's the word for it? It was like it's like tea, I mean, it was flowers and hanging plants and separate sitting. It was so
next
lovely.
level was the artwork.
We waited what, an hour for the food to come?
It felt like it.
But
I was so hungry, but
it was perfect. And then they didn't bother us for another hour sitting there. And then it was those experiences.
Original artwork.
Those experiences, you could tell were not expat directed.
Right.
It was meant to be appreciated by the people who were there, and expats were welcome.
Right.
And that experience, man, I just going into spaces and people smile at you, laughing at my little limited Spanish. And I mean, and the response in service in Costa Rica was con gusto, with pleasure. So you say gracias, they serve you, they hand it, you thank you, and this con gusto. And they actually treated you like it was with pleasure. Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, there's no tips. So, nobody was asking for tips, and they would just stop by the table and hold a conversation with you. They're serving you, and the people behind you went to somebody else. Nobody was in a rush or irritated with their spontaneous conversation happening, or being patient with, the fact that we were trying to get information. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, I don't speak English, no problem. We worked through that, and that vibe was very nice.
I just picked several shops to eat cake. I truly enjoyed the pricing. Just to give you all a little bit of the pricing, we said that was colones. Costa Rican colones is what we were exchanging USD for. So it's about 500 colones to $1. So anything that was listed, we just double it to know how much things cost. So this was the first time we used booking.com for transportation. It was seamless. Okay. So I have never had, I've always seen it, but I've never had a driver holding up a sign with our names on it. It was next level.
Bigger than that. So our pickup was scheduled for 2:00. Our pickup was scheduled for 2:00. We landed probably about 5 to 10
scheduled
minutes
it about
later.
an hour and a half after, because you got to go through customs and you got to wait on your bags and all of that.
The flight got to the airport area ahead of time, but due to what was going on the ground at the airport, we landed a few minutes later than the plan. We had to get through baggage. When we're in baggage claim, we hadn't gotten the customs or any of that yet.
No,
and
customs was after.
And
it was before baggage claim. Sorry, honey.
Okay.
Yes.
So wait. What do you go through after you get your bags to have everything checked? Isn't that customs?
No, you didn't have. Oh,
we went to immigration.
No.
Baggage, then customs.
Okay. So who is the guy that we gave the paperwork to? What is
That's immigration.
That's immigration.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See, I am the wife who listens. Okay.
Yeah. Immigration. Okay. And because customs checks your bags through the roller.
And I didn't get this time. I didn't have no vegetables.
Yeah, we didn't have to eat a whole head of lettuce this time. Go back to the Mexico renew video and watch that. Anyway, so when at 1:30 we're standing there waiting on our bags. Our pickup is not till 2:00, and the gentleman texts me and says, "Just want you to know I'm here.
Make sure you
hope
come.
You're having a good time. Enjoy, no rush."
Yeah.
And I mean, he was 30 minutes early.
Yeah.
We got outside. He was standing outside with a sign, just as relaxed and chill as he wanted to be. That was cool.
Yeah.
Because usually, I mean, I've gotten used to the driver pulling up, throwing us in the car, driving away. It was.
And then I found out that our friend that lives there runs a transportation service. So we'll post her information as well. Heidi has for small groups and individual pickups and transportation options. So we want to make sure that is available. You guys have asked some questions. Hold on.
So while she's looking through that, is a question here from Greta.
Yeah.
So let's talk transportation for a minute, since we're at the transportation piece.
Whoosh.
Our Airbnb was roughly, and I'm saying it this way, no traffic wise, about 25 minutes from the airport.
Mm-hmm.
It took us almost 2 hours to get there.
Mm-hmm. When we say there's a lot of vehicles on the road in Costa Rica, there are a lot
of vehicles on the road. And I'm saying that because we left
San Jose.
We left from there very early in the morning back to the airport, and literally there was nobody on the road, and it was 20 minutes or so from door to door. It took us almost 2 hours on what day did we land? Tuesday. We landed on a Tuesday in the middle of the day. So it wasn't even like
rush hour,
end of the day, rush hour traffic. And some of the videos that I'm going to post, I point down to the street, and there is constantly bumper to bumper traffic everywhere in Costa Rica. That's probably one of my dislikes when it comes to that, because it was just, the traffic was just really heavy all the time. 7 days a week,
but we didn't hear any of it.
Right.
It was just when we'd go outside, we'd be like, "Good gosh!" I mean, this is like this. It's heavy traffic in that it's a main international what do you call it, highway that ran in a couple of streets in front of where we were staying.
As a pedestrian walking.
Yeah.
As a person walking, you should know that in all of the countries from Mexico down, for lack of a better way to say it, pedestrians are not a priority in walking. And that doesn't mean that you're ignored. Traffic moving is what's important. And so you make your way to aggressively move across the street. It's like being in some of the big cities in the city. In the States,
they have the walk, don't walk, and walkways.
But unless the light stops, and even with that, the bikes run through lights all the time. Yeah. When you're walking, be determined about what you're doing and where you're going, because those pedestrian lights are short.
About on a swivel, but because I was just like, okay, so the cars have stopped, but the motorcycles do not.
Right.
Like they weave. Not only do they weave in and out of traffic, but they go through the what do you call that? The walk area, the pedestrian designated areas without regard for who may be crossing the street. So it's just it's different. It's just different.
And curbs are high.
Yes.
If there's a curb cut, you're lucky. And curbs are
some of them are it varies. And so I was like, I couldn't be in a motorized scooter because there are no curb cuts. Yeah. This one is not going to be trying to ride her motorized scooter in the street like a vehicle. Yeah, and so, you just...
But there's no riding on the sidewalk. So you're either in the street or you're walking.
But at least they had sidewalks.
But they did have some areas that were bike lanes and bus lanes.
Yeah, but it
wasn't enough.
It wasn't. No, not from the side streets.
Yeah, no.
Whereas that was on the main street.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, let's see, Greta. No, Dr. T. Okay, so bit of advice from Dr. Tijuana. Yes, making your booking. You can still get your points, accrue your points with Amex. So I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that. Oh, and the reason why I put this up is there may be travel insurance through your credit card. What I learned from Rashida Dow, Rashida's on the loose, is if you make a claim toward your travel insurance, that they're going to want to see that you have booked every part of your trip on that same card. So even if you are applying for the flight delay or whatever, they're going to want to see that your hotel and everything was booked on that credit card to reimburse you for that particular incident. So yes, I agree. You want to look at the advantages and then the requirements around if you're going to request or submit for reimbursement. So that is why I did what I did and used our credit card, and for every part of our booking, so that if we needed to go back, even though we don't have an Amex card, that is common. All right, living, loving abroad. Best thing to do is either purchase a phone outright and pay what the locals pay for service, or pay off your current phone and have the service provider unlock it. So we do have unlocked phones. One thing that Adelia Aborshade, Picky Girl Travels the World, talks about is getting a dual SIM card, but a phone, dual SIM phone. But because more and more countries have eSIM, I'm kind of saying I need a phone and a backup phone. Some people are saying they have 3 phones. Y'all, okay. But not having a backup phone, especially if you're going to be out of the country for a while, be careful with your phones, to how you extend it away from you, how you get a crossbody bag. H has a great crossbody bag that we did a tech and, things we purchased for that trip to Marrakesh, where he shows that crossbody bag has served him quite well because it has a lock on it. And I have Vera Bradley, the crossover bags that are pretty thick. I carry it in front of me. And I feel pretty secure having it. So these are great tips, everybody. Keep dropping them in the, yes. Okay. Poetry. Hello, sister. Oh, that's right. You were either in Costa Rica or Panama for a while. So y'all that have been here before, please drop some tips, especially as we're talking about Costa Rica. I discovered the card Revolut. Okay. Which can convert USD into international currency and pay whoever you need in the country. Greta asked if we got Wise. Greta, I ran out of time. I kept saying I was going to do it. I need to get a Wise card as well. But yes, both of those are the Wise account that they have a debit card. Revolut also is a new one, so I need to do a little bit more research. But how you move money, how much time it takes to move money, I learned the hard way with Fidelity. Like, you put the money in the account. I don't know if it was because it was the first time, but it's not immediately available. Like, you'll see it, but then you have to wait a week till it is accessible to your card. So y'all, to find out, don't be out here without more than one credit card or more than one way to pay. And then thinking about those hits that you could take when you're trying to convert to local currency, and getting some of these cards that don't require that you use your debit card, but may be linked, or that you can shut down quickly if your things are, if your account is compromised. Let's see. All right. Yes. Okay. Oops. I need a restaurant list for Costa Rica, baby. Aileen Brown. What's the name? Okay, hold on. I pulled. We got. So cost also for Costa Rica, and we are going deep today.
Oh yeah.
Cost for Costa Rica. Let's see. So Smart Food was where we went, right?
Correct. Twice.
Okay. Yeah. So Smart Food, we got, okay. One time we got burgers and these wedges. They make the great wedges. So it's called Kaja. What? Kaya Smart Food.
Kaia.
It's at Plaza del Sol. We've got a video. We have several videos for Plaza del Sol, in addition to having some really nice places to eat that I just kind of got on rotation because it was really good and they had lots of options. Yeah, we were paying something like $28-ish. I got, the first time I got the veggie burrito they had the little potato wedges, and then I got a separate salad. So that trip was a little bit more. But yeah, $28.
This mall was great, and I want to sidestep it. This mall was great. It was a basic mall with shops and food, but it also had a grocery store and it had a full hospital.
Yeah, so we cannot wait to show you.
Yeah.
So the hospital was like the hospital affiliate clinic where you could see cardiologists, gastrologists. You could go to your, and it was right there. I mean, it was so nice. Let's see, it was called the Auto Mercado. That was kind of, I would say, price wise, it's like a Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, price wise, it's not only price wise, but the selection of the kind of food that I eat. So if you are plant-based or vegan, I wanted to see if Anita, I did not tell her we were going to talk about it today, but if you eat Daya or Morningstar or Gardein or the Impossible Burger,
the plant-based products.
The plant-based products are all there. The cheesecakes, meat replacements. I mean, I was very impressed.
It was like walking into a Whole Foods or the Kroger section, because Kroger is one of the most one of those grocery stores I think has the largest selection of varied selection of plant-based products, and this had more than that.
But babe, you gonna pay.
But yeah, you gonna pay for it.
You gonna pay. You gonna pay. So it's I think Stephen and LaShawn on Living Loving Abroad have talked about over time your budget. If you're okay with paying more, because having those familiar foods is important to me, but I know I have to transition because the money it cost a lot. So knowing that it was available felt great. Knowing that I'm going to have to find where the locals go to grocery shop, because this is clearly for people who do not live there, or who are on the higher end of the ability to pay those kinds of prices. So we were spending for things like your regular tomatoes. We would not buy avocados. Yeah, I have not bought an avocado since we have left the States.
One avocado was like $5.
No.
Yeah. Head of lettuce was that big, green leaf lettuce, and it was.
Well, that wound up being like $2, which is roughly like the green leaf lettuce.
Yeah.
So, but like you have to be aware, especially when you have a conversion to consider how much you're actually paying. And we were spending something like $50.
Yeah, where we were located, and because of the traffic patterns, we did not get a chance to. We didn't get in any ride share, any public transportation. If it wasn't in walking distance, we didn't go.
Right.
And so we didn't get a chance to really find another grocer to compare if there were better prices for. And so this grocer, because it was in this mall area, most of the things in the mall were fairly decently priced, but the grocery store I felt was a little pricey especially on produce.
Yeah.
Produce in particular. So that was a challenge.
And that makes up a huge bulk of our, if I didn't say, booking.com from the airport to our location was $27 for two people.
Yeah.
He came in a very nice Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
To pick us up, clean, efficient service.
He drove he drove efficiently. I didn't feel like I was being thrown around in the car and he was in a race for his life.
Yeah.
But it took a while.
So the bakeries that were nearby, the pizza place, it was just down the hill. Like I said, there. Why did I buy Krispy Kreme? I don't even eat Krispy Kreme at home, but I decided to get it. It was over sweet, and I don't remember how sweet Krispy Kreme donuts were, but and then we found the Mediterranean place, but that shop area was international. So we went to a Korean grocery store there. There was a tapas place, a Korean barbecue place, the Mediterranean.
For a little food court, it was packed with variety and culture. And that is something that I feel is often lost in food courts outside of the fast. I mean, these were like restaurants. These weren't like fast casual. These were restaurants.
Yeah.
And that was really great. Guess we better jump on to Panama.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Remitly does the same thing. Thank you, Nikki. Yes, thank you. You guys, okay, so spent a lot of time because we enjoyed the rest. The focus of Costa Rica was really to rest.
Right.
Panama is where we're doing the house sit. So no housing cost, high travel cost. So we land in Panama. Where we're going in Coronado, the streets have names, the houses have no numbers.
Yeah.
So, and you have to have access, a special access into this gated community. So we're out of gas.
So let's go back. First of all,
using anything other than the recommended drivers because we don't know anything.
This
and we're an hour and a half away from Panama City.
We're an hour and a half away from the airport. And it's not a resort town, but it's
a beach.
A beach
area. Yeah.
And I mean, it's beautiful. It is hot,
humid,
and humid.
High temperature. So we talked about Costa Rica being in the gentle 70s.
Yeah.
We out here fighting for. You see, my hair has lost a little bit because the humidity.
We just fallen under 90.
Yeah.
Here. We're in the high upper 80s, and I'm talking about the hot 80s. The humidity is. We are pet sitting, and it's our first shared pet sit.
Yes, this is our first shared pet sit.
And the dog is scheduled to walk
2
very
times
early
a day.
in the morning. And at daybreak, I walk the dog, and day before yesterday, so Thursday, I walked outside. I couldn't breathe, and I don't have breathing issues. It was the humidity in the air, and it was just barely light. The humidity sitting in the air was extreme. I'm from Florida, and humidity is not my jam. And it is when there's a breeze, it's nice. It is hot. It's so I define hot differently. Some people define hot by it's bright out here, it's hot, it's humid, it's hot. I look for the humidity level and how much the sun is burning on my skin. And it is skin burning, back of the neck hot, and it is heavy, humid, almost New Orleans humid kind of heat, Savannah in the summer kind of humid. And that is exhausting.
Even when it rains, it raises the humidity.
Correct.
So you still get, it's overcast.
Right.
And it has rained pretty extensively.
Correct.
Even though it's not rainy season. So I wrap my hair so that I'm not frizzing out my well paid for hair.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Black woman.
And I mean, I like direct sun. I like heat. when we were in Spain, Spain was very hot when we were there, but it was step out of the sun and it was cool. I mean, step out of the sun and it wasn't as abrasive. Right. Because there was no humidity. This is that we were sitting underneath the deck here and we came in the house because the air was heavy. Yeah. That's a big deal to me.
What I want to make sure that you all are paying attention to is we're talking about our experience in the city, even though a lot of times people will say that's why I don't come to Panama.
Country, yeah.
One of the beautiful things about Panama, it is a smaller country, but the ecosystem here, they've got I believe it's 13 different climates here. So from David, which is in the far south, all the way north, a lot of people like Boquete because it's a nice, reasonable, it's kind of like the Costa Rica feel, the way that they describe it, where you've got pleasant temperatures, low humidity, not high elevation. And so it is more comfortable there. And so a lot of expats are flocking to that area. And so you may want to, when you're considering from a scouting standpoint, even though we're not scouting here, I'm making sure that I understand this is relative to the area that I'm in, and that there are other options if this is my place. Because somebody if y'all have not paid attention to
how was it for your asthma?
Yes. Okay. So I didn't even get a chance to talk about medication.
We'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it.
We're going in today, so.
Yeah. I'm indoors, Nikki, with the air on. This house has an abundance of mini splits,
and we use them all.
We have to use them to breathe. The air can be very still, even though the ocean is in walking distance of where we currently are. Like I'm trying to find a time of day where I feel safe to go there and come back, because the ocean breeze does something very healing for asthmatics. And so, but the bacon, it has not kept me indoors, because I have met the sisters that have come down from Panama City. They came to Coronado for the Thursday market. We have gone to the grocery store. We've gone out to eat. We actually went to see a condo. We're going to be publishing that video. The condos here, when I say affordable, it doesn't meet my budget, but the condo we looked at has 1 bedroom. It has a separate room that could have its own bed in that space, or you could turn that into an office.
Beachfront. And
it's beachfront. All of the units in what's currently available all face the ocean for $1,200 to $1,500 a month, or for purchase, it's less than $2,000.
No, it was
$200,000 for.
It was, the lowest was about 187,000. The highest was roughly about 238,000 for purchase, and the 238,000 was a 2-bedroom and a high rise. So the low and the bottom floor was a little more expensive, 221,000, because it had a patio and it was slightly larger, even though it was still a 1-bedroom. So
it's, when you are scouting, don't scout without having done your homework, where you have set out in your budget what is the housing price, what's your monthlies, because my eyes were twinkling. My eyes were twinkling. The breeze, even when you're directly at the beach, the breeze is just amazing. The sun was very direct, but the breeze was amazing.
Amazing. That $238,000, I'm going to show that one, because where it was situated out of the kitchen window. So this is the chef talking here. Out of the kitchen window was the mountain range, and just fields of trees right outside the mountain range, and directly across the room at the living room was the deck looking out at the beach. So when the windows were open, the breeze was running straight through but 238,000?
It's not that's not where I wanted to go. And y'all, when I say you have to have some anchors.
Because it was amazing.
It was amazing. I might have made some mistakes and been like, consequences and repercussions.
Because we were on the 18th floor.
So it was nice. Very nice view, y'all. I love a good view.
It made the humidity of Panama seem non-existent. because it was blowing through there. It was beautiful.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, Misha, yes, Japan. We may have some information there too. But yeah, I know what I love, and whether it's house sitting, and y'all have known that I've gone house sat in some areas that have mountains and rivers, and I know that those things speak to my heart. It's it's a part of what helps my ADHD brain relax. That ocean, the sounds of the ocean are just healing. The breeze of the ocean. But as servant teacher Nikki was talking about, she said the heat and humidity is disrespectful. And you have to know, you have to understand your limits. Heat and humidity means something, especially when you have asthma, because that may mean the increased level of mold. And so you're going to need to have a dehumidifier. You're going to need to make sure that you are having your walls wiped to make sure that bacteria is not growing. You just little things like that. You need to be a detective of not just this is a pretty place, but how is it going to impact? The other reason why it would not work is you can rent. They do car rentals through that condo, but like I know I can't live this far south. I don't desire to have a car. I don't want to have a driver's license. I would prefer not to have that be expenses when we leave. Okay. Maybe farther down the road when the money starts moneying, the math gets better. But right now we're on a tight budget, and getting back to the city, we paid. Help me. I tried booking.com. And I've told you all why we couldn't use anyone other. That $90 to $100 one way is the transportation. Shock and awe. That was not the thing that I had to build that into our budget because nowhere else is requiring that amount of money, but it's an hour and a half away, and we made an exception. But once I made my local friends, I asked, how do you get back to Panama City? So we taken the $5 bus back to Panama City. The bus comes right outside of the community, and for two people, it's $5. I'm just saying, if you are not in the Facebook groups, if you're not intentional about trying to make local friends, there are so many things you won't find out. Our host suggested some places to buy groceries, took us to buy groceries. That's something very typical that I've experienced is I don't come with the car. They show us around the city. They take us to get groceries, and then we do have access to their car, but it was nice to be able to do those things and find, because she was in the store and I was like, where's the coconut milk? I ain't found tofu in Panama or Costa Rica, not the kind in the water yet. It's like, I will have to make my own tofu. Yes, I like tofu. And I don't eat it often, but enough that it is an addition to the diversity in my diet. Ooh, so I encourage you to, that was a gotcha. There was no way around it as a newbie, but I wasn't going to be left without a solution for keeping our budget tight. So then we were able to put almost $100 back into our budget because we found a new way to get back. We're going to visit with friends in Panama City before we leave, headed to our next destination. But I was sharing about the grocery stores. So
frozen vegetables. I want to
okay, yeah.
frozen vegetables are present, but they are present in smaller and limited quantities. You want vegetables, you either buying it canned or you buying it fresh. So you are buying some stuff and prepping it and mixing it. Just bags and bags of frozen vegetables. We went to the El Mechichazo, and it is Sears meets Walmart meets Dollar General, all at the flea market. And it is the day that Dee met with
the Panama City ladies.
I went down to check it out, and it was like 6 Walmarts worth of people in there. It was all the locals, but it was everything was there, and we had been shopping at slightly more expensive places, and there was so we're talking about fresh butchered chicken. We're talking about farm fresh eggs. The vegetables still got dirt on them. I mean, it's and what happens is the grocer is downstairs and the other part is upstairs. The clothing and
shoes and toys
and appliances, all that stuff is upstairs. But you have to purchase each level separately. So you can't go upstairs and get the clothes and then come downstairs and check out at the grocery. Whatever is upstairs, you pay for that upstairs. And then whatever's down the grocery, you pay for that separate downstairs. And they check your receipt on the way out the door like they Sam's. They don't play.
No, they don't.
But the locals are in there deep. And so wherever the locals are, that's where I was.
Yeah.
And the prices were better.
Yeah.
Now, again, in the specialty items or the Americanized items, the things you're from home, they're not in this store.
Not always. I was able to find Dove soap.
There's a few.
I was able to find Morningstar there. And we went to the expat stores, and it was not until we got to El Mechichazo that I found mixed vegetables. I brought Kikkomens so I could have some fried rice.
Yeah.
And we were in the store searching. I was like, there's gotta be. And I was like, oh, around this corner is a frozen food section.
It was a little corner in the side. And there was one cooler that had frozen vegetables. And it was literally like mixed vegetables, peas, carrots.
That's it. So as I mentioned before, taking your time and getting to know your city, talking to locals, and I'm trying to. Our host actually used language that discouraged us from going there, and that is almost a red light for that's exactly where you're going.
Well, you were recommended by Vera?
Yeah, I was going to say I got a local sister who said that's the store we shop at.
Who we've interviewed.
Yes.
We've interviewed.
I also.
And it was worth it because when we went yesterday, it was a different time frame.
Yeah.
And it was busy, but it wasn't like it was the day that I went in, it was lines and crowds. Yesterday it was just a little busy.
Yeah.
And so, you can make it elbow room through the lines and whatever.
Yeah. We are also surviving these experiences with Duolingo level. I don't know what level he's on.
Unolingo.
And y'all, I did not do Rosetta Stone. That's my normal go-to. And I didn't make the time. I won't say I didn't have time. I didn't make the time. And we out here surviving. I found pick sweet vegetables out here, but things that I eat like collard greens, kale, even when you go to El Rey's or the high end, what are we calling it? The Whole Foods level. What is it called?
Reba Smith.
Reba Smith. Yeah. So the pick sweet is there. So some of what we noticed about the food here. So we've talked in general about what you can find and where you can find it. the food prices are better here than in Costa Rica.
Agreed.
When we go to the grocery store,
Agreed.
we're buying more
Right.
because we've got a kitchen and we're here for longer. So we're making more purchases. Panama uses the US dollar, like we said before. But there are a lot of things that I anticipated. I always anticipate when I get the brands that I'm aware of that it's going to be a lot more. Some things were $1, maybe $1.50 more food wise. But a lot of things are comparable. Like I sent my mother Murray's. The brand is called Murray's. It's my guilty pleasure to eat ginger snaps, but they're the ginger snaps my mom bought when I was a child, that anytime I go to her house, anytime, she has a bag that is waiting for me and a bag that my niece and nephew try to eat up when they know that I'm coming.
Bigger than that.
And I wanted to have something. And I want to see that food is, if you can't get home, food is the way that you cook a meal, or brands that are familiar from home help address some pulls for homesickness.
That was surprising to me. A bigger surprise to me was the product Bud's Best. Bud's Best, the maker of that is a member of the church where you went to school as a kid. Is that right? So we're talking about a local to Birmingham, Alabama. He was a small, I don't want to say he was small.
He's big time because he's all over the country. But
Bud's Best cookies were in the store here.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. When we talk about vibe and energy and people, the in Costa Rica, I found the people, like I said, I told you, they light skinned black folk. They real soulful, vibey. The people here, she laughed at me when I said it. I said, these are Central Americans who had a black daddy. They brown people. And it's almost like they're okay
to be able to feel and see myself.
They're okay that you're here.
Yeah.
There's not a dismissal or anything, but it's like they're used to you. It's like when those people move into that neighborhood and everybody's kind of going, yeah, I see them over here in this neighborhood. They kind of acknowledge you. They're real casual. There's not as much. I think in the area that we're in, they're used to this expat invasion, and so they just kind of move around. I still am challenged, kind of like when I was in Mexico, with that. I call it the people walking over you kind of culture. They're moving and you're in the way. They just kind of
keep going.
Over you. And the taxis here are on a rage. So I get out, when I'm walking, most people go around me. I get out of the way when the little taxis are coming, they're little cars, because I swear they're going to hit me. Those are things that I pay attention to.
He's driving. I am not.
There are a lot.
Because there are no traffic lights out here. Mm-hmm. They have these turning lanes.
Okay. So
that they say you cannot do a U-turn here. You cannot. And so they're just driving expectations. And the penalty for disobeying the law is $250.
Yeah, the traffic in Costa Rica was heavy. The traffic is not heavy here. The traffic patterns here are disturbing because the main road is a long stretch of road, and you can't let's see how I explain it. If you are
another treat.
Yeah, if you are traveling in the States and you want to cross over to the to something that's you're on the southbound and you want to cross to the northbound, something on the northbound side, you come to the cut and you cross the highway. Here, there are only certain places you can go. So it might be 2 miles you have to go up before you can turn around and come back to the store you were trying to go to. And that is frustrating because everything's in the same place, but there's not a lot of turnoffs. And where there are turnoffs, sometimes it's illegal to do U-turns. And so people are doing them. Traffic is a challenge. and I have found from Mexico down, that would probably be more the reason I don't want to drive. I like to drive. I like the I like the control of being behind the wheel and knowing where I'm going and knowing, I'm going to pull up where I plan to pull up versus somebody else taking me somewhere all the time. I know that I may have to get used to that. I still like the freedom, the control, the energy of driving, but I don't see myself doing that in any of the places that we've visited so far, because I don't understand the traffic patterns. Now, mind you, I've driven in Atlanta, I've driven in New York, I've driven in DC. This is a completely different beast. And so I will not be in a car regularly driving anywhere. This is one of those house sits, as Dee said, that allows us to use the vehicle. I go where we're going. I park it. I walk as much of it as we can. I get back in the car. I drive it back here. I park it. They have a go-kart, a golf cart. I don't plan to necessarily.
Over here. You don't need to come over here. Sure. Coda
ignores us till the snack time.
Hold on. Pull the screen down.
This is Coda. She's a Siberian Husky.
Coda.
It's snack time.
Coda. She heard me take the snack out.
So yeah, it's a part of the driving that I have to learn to navigate, and I don't see myself wanting to navigate that. This is we started this trip saying neither Costa Rica nor Panama were our place. Yes, this is their pet. Yeah. And again, we talk about weather. If you have pets, consider that also in terms of your pets, because when she and I were walking in that heavy humidity a couple of days ago, she was struggling with breathing as well, and she pretty much let me know, we're going inside. We usually do about an hour in the morning. She was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this," and she likes being outside. So that's something to consider as well. We take for granted the animals and how it affects them.
Oh, even elevation.
The energy here, Panama, where we are in Coronado, we'll be in Panama City a day and a half. So we'll give you some information on how I feel about the city, what we get to experience. Panama City, Coronado, not my vibe in general.
I like being outside of the city.
Right.
I like aspects of being outside of the city, but I don't have the freedom of movement based on the fact that I don't have a car or that I'm not willing to have a car, and that transportation is more expensive. But along the highway between Panama City and Coronado, there are a lot of bus stands. So, and we have a couple of videos that have the different sizes of the buses. So there's the taxis that are really for local, but then there are these short buses, and then larger buses, and then the charter buses that give you options. And that's great. Just within a small radius, and then all the way to Panama City.
Nice little vehicles, the ones that run up and down the local street here. It's like a little van, and it's probably 10, 15 people can pack inside of it, but it's not a cargo van size. It's just a little narrow little van.
I don't know if they got all those people in there.
But they run up and down these little roads. I think they pick up the workers or taking them to work. Then on the main road is the daily travel bus. And it's not a big like city bus. It's like
I can't describe.
We'll take some pictures.
It's like a school bus.
You probably could get but not that big.
Yeah.
But it's probably got 30, 40 people can get on it. And then there's the big like charter buses, like she said, that can take you all the way to city. And we talk. And here's the funny thing: it's a Kia. The city buses are Toyotas. The charter buses are Kias, and that's a beautiful piece of vehicle.
Yeah. We will be able to tell you, Well, we haven't done the ETN in Mexico. I really wish we had done that.
What's that?
So the buses everybody takes, the luxury buses. Let's see.
Yes.
Misha was asking.
Yes.
Let's see. So yeah, we are closer to the equator.
It is their summer.
They just finished rainy season here, so I was glad for that. But it is the beginning of the summer. When we asked, what's his name? So I'll say his name right.
Oh,
Jaquan.
No,
we asked
Joaquin.
Okay.
Joaquin.
Still did it.
Trying to get a man a black name. Joaquin.
Okay, so Joaquin, we asked Joaquin. That's black too. If Joaquin asked, we asked Joaquin about the temperature. Is this the hottest it's going to be? We're talking 88, 89. And he says, no, January is hotter than it is. And then it kind of, it peaks in January and then goes down. So it's like Herman said, look, buckle up. You're probably going to be in and out of places. If you're getting an Airbnb, look to make sure that they have a mini split at a minimum in the bedroom, but for it to be really comfortable, it should be in the living space and the bedroom space. So we have a video of the iguanas that we saw climbing. So a lot of people ask about, we encountered maybe gnats in Costa Rica, maybe, but not really. And y'all know a lot of those flying bugs don't like higher elevation. So that could help with that. I don't like snakes. I don't like iguanas either, but they were over there and I felt fine. And so I'm not really encountering a lot of bugs. So yeah, if you have any other questions about that, this couple has a pool, which is nice. A lot of people have hired service. I've been able to see that because we're in more of a residential space. The house cleaning isn't necessarily included, but they said you could it's $30 a visit for the condo we were looking at. So yeah, I am looking forward to never cleaning toilets again, never cleaning a refrigerator, wiping down a refrigerator again, mopping floors. Like, give me the good life on a budget.
The other Florida part of this that I don't like, the mosquitoes. I have been eaten alive. I was warned, so I was prepared, but the mosquitoes have. And
don't bring your American mosquito stuff. It don't work anywhere but in the U.S. It's a different level. Thailand, our friends in Thailand are like, don't bring off over here. Yeah. That is
laughable.
That is dessert.
Yeah.
So you can find natural options for mosquitoes, but definitely using something that is local to a local formula for the area that you're in.
The people, the expats that we've run into, we had a great conversation with a couple of ladies that we found an Athens pizza place. Oh, excellent pizza. Another pizza place. Yeah. And there was a couple of ladies in there. We had a great, we'll post some content, not directly of them, but that time there with them. And the people who are here really enjoy this space, being here. Mm-hmm. At the same time, conversations that I've had with some of them say sometimes the information about the challenges that are here isn't always put out there. Mm-hmm. Do your homework when you come to these countries. You are an American, black, white, or otherwise. You are an American. And as visiting countries, the assumption is you have the resources, you have the opportunity, you have the to do more. One of the things I appreciate about the visit with the gentleman that we looked at the condo, he's Panamanian. He went to school at FSU. So, he understands that, and he was shooting with us straight. He wasn't trying to convince us to buy anything. He was like, this is what it looks like. This is what it is. This is what your options are.
Yeah.
This is what people do. It was really straightforward. But everybody's not going to give you that honest evaluation of what is available to you. Some of them are going to try to get better than others on you. And you have to have done your research. If you can get into these communities, find people on the ground. I personally like to see for myself what a place looks like, what it feels like, what the energy is like. But if that's not an opportunity for you, and you have some people that you can find, that you can trust, who can do the background, there are people who will go do the walk for you, who will do the research for you. Some of them for cost, some of them not. And most of them is not major. I know Jewel Wren has been doing major, walkthroughs for people in Manta for a couple of years now. So it's ways to do that, but do your own research. Dee and I do consultations. We will sit down with you and share the information that we have found and the processes that we have used in going into wherever you want to go. These two countries are beautiful. Oh, absolutely. The cities that we have visited in these two countries are beautiful.
Yes.
The people are amazing.
Yes.
The energy is great. For one reason or the other, I'm not sure. If I had to choose right now, just on what I visited, I probably would go to Costa Rica. That's just honest. I like Panama, but it doesn't, I won't use that term.
If you're looking for a strong community, what I shared with the ladies is the Black expat community in Panama is unmatched. The only match that I have found on the globe, and I am in all the groups. I'm in as many groups as I can get in. But when I say people who are planning, they do welcome groups, they're focused on language. People are sharing how to get around, like, we're going to go together, get on the bus, and I'm going to show y'all how to go to the airport, how to take the metro. That's Panama.
Agreed.
But those people are usually concentrated in Panama City. So if you are looking for a vibrant community of people, I want activities. I want to meet people without having to, have a lot of effort into the process. Out here in Coronado, we happen to be we happen to be headed to the Super 99 grocery store and walked past the pizza place. It was lunchtime. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, do you think it's good? And we looked inside and we were like, there's two sisters. I said, there are two sisters in there.
That ain't what she said.
There are two sisters in there. Let's find out. If those are the kinds of aspects of a soft landing you're looking for, you're going to find it in Panama City. I was trying to find the comment that somebody made early on about Panama. Panama is making a huge difference in a lot of people's decision. Yes, it was Lynn. When you qualify for the retirement visa, there are all kind of discounts and doors open for you, for flights, for discounts at the stores. There's so many things. It's like the icing on top of a well-made cake. And so I think there are a lot of aspects of Panama City that make it very appealing. That in the city center, I have seen the skyline of Miami. I have seen the skyline of Los Angeles. I don't think I've ever seen a skyline like Panama City. As we were flying in, you could see the cruise ships docked, and then all of the high-rise condos. It is a very beautiful place. We look forward to sharing more content and our experience with meeting the Black expats in Panama communities, not just Charlotte Van Horn's group, but the couple of communities, because we're going to be there for a day and a half before we leave. So I thank you guys so much for hanging out. This is probably the longest we have done in a while. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for celebrating 2,000 subscribers with us, literally during this this time that we were together during this broadcast. Yes, Playa Blanca. Yes, without a car or a partner, it's not enough to keep me interested. So I moved to the city.
And a lot
literally, I hope that people understand the flexibility that you have to have in the move abroad process. Evelyn, thank you. Thank you. Because it should also make a decision. If I ship all my stuff
or myself
and then have to have it transported to this area, and then I decide I'm going to move again, yes, the cost is lower, but that's still a lot of money. So spend some time in your place before deciding if you're going to bring stuff or settle in or sign a 1-year lease. When you could Airbnb for a few months, make sure it's the right place, that you're going to choose a place that's near the things that are important to you, and that you have the kind of community that you feel that you can get to know, that you feel will be supportive of you integrating into their culture. I'm so honored to be able to compare this. We look forward to joining Stephen and LaShawn in Ecuador next.
Absolutely.
So
we're gonna meet with Elise and Rob of Intentional Metamorphosis at the end of next week.
Yes.
And then the week after that, we'll get a chance to spend time with Steve and LaShawn in Cuenca. Listen, we get around. We get to see a few other people. The Lorana, who's been on here with us. We chasing y'all down. If you say you're there, we coming for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. These conversations, these bits of information like Evelyn is providing here, these are the resources that are necessary to getting your experience personalized for you. And that is what Dee and I are trying to share on this channel, that we are utilizing the information and the contacts that we have with you to expand and maybe not perfect, but make this experience the best it is for us at this point, and to show that we are being flexible and pivoting like a mug.
The beautiful thing about Ecuador is we're going to stay in a co-living space. I'm telling y'all, we out here, and I might get this one to try a hostel. So be present. Set those notifications because real things are happening. People are transforming their opinions.
We're being risk takers.
We are going and growing, and we're so glad to grow with you. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, set the notification bells, leave us comments. Was this helpful? Buy
us a coffee. I'm going Rondell on y'all. Buy us a coffee. Join our mailing list so you can be a part of the programs we are working on. We are working on some projects we want you to be mindful of, more than just here in our presentation format. Join us. for a consultation. We will share the resources we have. There's no way we can do it all in this format. I know we talk a lot. We don't mind sharing with you, but we want you to the opportunities we have to talk with you personally and share. One, because we just love meeting any and everybody. She's not the introvert she thinks she is, y'all.
Look, Myers-Briggs says otherwise. So Tanya Brooks, just like Tanya Brooks said, she was interested in, prepaying, considerations for prepaying your scouting trip to make it more budget friendly. If there are other content ideas like building your scouting trip budget, things like that, we would love to be able to put that kind of content together for you. So feel free to leave it in the comments. And the hashtag replay gang, y'all, there's nothing but love.
Yeah, drop comments because it's still a conversation well after.
Absolutely. Come on, Ailey Brown.
Don't be sitting in there. I'll let you know.
I tried to get him a Bayesian Alpha 4 nose. I tried to get him to do the hostel when we were in Sevilla.
We'll see. We'll see. Evelyn, don't worry. We'll be back. Because travel is regardless.
Message us on Instagram, Evelyn. Message us on Instagram because we are seeking out folks to meet up with. And I'll make sure I share the details for where we're doing that meetup when we get to the city after Christmas. So
we are H&D abroad. I get to be H. I'm still always D. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you soon. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely. Bye for now.